it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today we are doing a little bit of DIYing. No stamps, no dies that you need for this. You can create your own version. I am going to use some patterned paper, but of course you can make your own, absolutely. I'm using, this is an older one, I think it's still available. It's called the Bee's Knees by Honeybee Stamps, and this just has lots of fun designs. Now, as per usual, I don't really know where I'm going with this. I know what I want to create and I know what it looks like in my head. I just don't have a great plan to get there. So I'm just pulling out some papers. I'm not sure at this point if I'm going to layer some up. I'm not even sure if I'm going to make several of these cards, or I know I need at least just one. So one is the minimum and we'll see where we go. But I'm just pulling out some designs that look fun and that might work together. I might be able to do some layering. I'm not sure at this point. Really, all you need is I'm going to use one of these for a background, and then I'm going to use one of these to create a little gift bag. Now, this one is a bit of a cutie project, I will say. So we are going to create a little gift bag to go on the front of our card. Now, as for measurements, I am terrible at measurements. If you know my channel, I prefer not to measure. So this is how I measure. I need this to fit a gift card. So I'm doing this a gift card width across. I still couldn't tell you what that measures. So make it as you will. All I do know is that I am going to put some score lines in every 1/4 inch. So 2 score lines at the left, the right, and the bottom. So that is the left, then we do the other side, and then I do one at the bottom, but I actually end up cutting out these little corners, and then the bottom one doesn't actually need a score line because it's just going to get folded directly up and not like that little valley that you see. Now, this is just the best way that I have found to do them, so you can do it any which way. You don't have to have the score lines. You could have a really flat little gift box or gift bag on the front as well if you want. I am using the Magic Messages from Fawn. I just like this really easy little sentiment to go on the front. I chose to make a strip of paper which I thought was going to layer up the center, either going, vertical or horizontal, I wasn't sure, and that was going to go behind the sentiment, but actually I don't end up using that. Then I have cut out some circles from my Hero Arts Infinity Circle Dies set and stamped one of those happy birthday sentiments on there. Now this is a very quick and fun card. I add a little bit of double-sided tape onto the sides there. And then, as I said, I don't end up folding this bottom one here, and I guess you could almost just put this flat onto the page, but I do like having the little flap. It does make a gift card or a gift or a piece of, if you like, fold up some money. It does sit in there really nicely. So from here, I have this little piece of tissue paper. Now, I want this to match the blue stripe that I was going to put on. So to give this sort of a not tie-dye, but just a dyed look, I want to add a little bit of colour. I'm going to use some peacock feathers, which sort of matches that blue. I'm using my little Waffle Flower non-stick mat, put some ink down on there, add quite a lot of water because I wasn't sure how well this tissue paper would pick up the colour, and I over-saturate it. So what I'm going to do is sort of dip it in and put it onto a piece of paper and then dry it. If I want to add more colour, I dip it back in again and again and again until I get roughly what I want. Now this piece of tissue paper was actually, it separated some acetate sheets, I think that's what it was from. So after that process, we have got my coloured tissue paper ready to go as well. Now we are going to get into creating the card base. I'm going to make this out of some craft coloured cardstock. This is the Fawn craft coloured one. Then I have this little piece. As you saw, this came from the same paper pad, and it's sort of like wood panels, I guess. Then I'm going to cut apart some burlap ribbon, and I'm going to make a little handle, or 2 handles actually. Now, if you just have the pieces of twine, then that's even more perfect, but I am going to plait some little, or braid some little handles for this bag, just as something a little bit extra. You could absolutely use normal ribbon. I think that would look gorgeous too. I just had this in my head that I wanted some little twine handles. Now, for whatever reason, I purchased this washi tape. This is a lawn fawn one, these gorgeous little undersea creatures, and I have no idea when I'm going to use this, but wow, is this cute. So just to make me happy, I wanted to hold down my little piece of twine here with this, and I'm going to braid this or plait this all the way just so it's long enough to create a handle. The end of the handles will be hidden inside, so no need to make those absolutely perfect. I just tie a knot and that means that it's not going to come out. So that is going to be one handle, and then I decide to do a second one as well. And this is a fun part because you can custom these handles to whatever you like as well. It doesn't have to be ribbon, it doesn't have to be twine, it could be raffia, it could be, I don't know, could be anything. Depends what you have on hand. You could just make it out of paper and make it really plain and simple. But I was having fun, and I was having fun creating this little bag, and I love the outcome of it. Given that it takes no dies to create, it looks pretty gosh darn cute. So this is obviously where I'm going to pop the handles in. Now it doesn't really matter what the inside of the bag looks like, so I'm just going to use some hot glue to make sure that these are adhered really, really well, because obviously they are somewhat delicate. I don't think anyone's going to be pulling on them, so I think you could probably just use some double-sided tape or something. I think that would be fine, but I had my hot glue gun out from a previous project, so I hot glued the handles in place. This is the little background piece that I'm going to pop on to frame my card base and my little bag. I can pop my little bag on the top, and at this point I think I had decided that I didn't necessarily want the blue strip, and so it seemed a little bit pointless that I had dyed the tissue paper, but that's okay because it still contrasts really nicely and I can still use it. It was the only piece I had, so I couldn't go back and do another color or leave it white, but that's okay. So I am just making sure that the little gift card is going to pop in and out perfectly. Since the hot glue gun was on, I'm going to add hot glue to the back of my sentiment. I wouldn't do this again. I much prefer to have just liquid glue. Hot glue leaves those gorgeous little spider webs everywhere, even though they're easy to get rid of with a heat gun. I like my liquid glue. But anyway, pop this in place and make sure that is definitely not going anywhere now. And then if you want, you can either add your little gifts in there, but I am just going to fold this little piece of tissue paper inside my little gift bag. And how easy was that to create? I think this looks absolutely stunning. I had so much fun creating it. No measuring, no dies, stamps because I chose to put a sentiment on the front, but pretty easy. And I did just make one today, but I am pretty excited to go back and make some more now that I know how easy it is, and I think this is just a really easy way to give a gorgeous little gift. So thank you so much for joining me today. I will see